Well, how do that, chums? As I, Captain Steve, and today, chums, for you guys out there in the viewerverse, I've put together a fine and dandy video, well, I hope it's fine and dandy, of ideas based on things that feel foundational currently in iteration. Yeah, so this should be freaking ace. I'm hoping so anyway, chums. Let me just go and hit this up on the actual scribble pad over here, and I hope you enjoy my ideas. Here we go. Executamundo. So here's my little list of things that feel foundational. So more variety, biomes and terrain, perhaps a super formula, more loot and reasons to explore planets, more cave and ocean fauna, better ways to learn languages and perks for doing so, backstories to the Nexus NPCs and more lore, better, more enjoyable, stable missions for solo and multiplayer, more of a challenge and a threat, should you seek it, base parts for power, wind, tidal for example, pens for pets and ways to make actual fauna farms, ship customization, better gameplay loop, modules and storage for the living ships to make them on par, better roleplay mechanics rather than random chance like the S-class spawning of freighters, crew and bridges for frigates, and attend away missions and fix all bugs. Heck yes. So here we go, let's move on into ideas on how I feel we could improve those things. So first up, planetary exploration and loot and all that sort of shenanigans. We have had these lovely fandangly type buildings added to planets. These are the colossal archives. Yes, these things are colossus in name and stature, but yet what they deliver is small in delivery. Yes, it's a bit of a shame. Some of the actual lore you pick up here is a few snippets of lineage, but yes, usually it's quite rewarding the actual wordage you get here, but that's all you get is a little mini synopsis of story. Yet they've got like agents here. Yet the agents, they don't give you much more than what you get up in the stations. This here is called the Local Information Repository. Now I'm hoping they link it to the new objective, the secondary missions, the exploration guide, and here you can see it says Local Information Register. I am hoping that one day they tie these two things together, and whatever you discover, and the more you discover in a certain area, you come to one of these colossal archives, upload it here, and then it rewards you something fantastically awesome, some sort of random generated perk that you can put inside your multi-tool or inside your ship, or even a new exocraft or exocraft module that you just can't get anywhere else in the verse, so you have to do exploration and scanning and all sorts of other stuffage. There's also a guild envoy here. It does nothing more than the guild envoy that you find in the stations. I really hope they implement guild systems inside of No Man's Sky, so you can hit up your friends list, have a little mini guild, and get guild rewards, almost like Twitch drops for doing certain missions and all sorts of other shenanigans. Currently, you can find buried caches all over planet surfaces. I think it would be nice if you dig up these buried caches and then take the contents over to the actual archives, perhaps then it could unlock more lore at the archives, because at the moment you only get one piece of text from the giant colossal archive machine, but it'd be nice if you actually dig these up, take them there, and it gives you another snippet of lore, kind of like a little mini reset, so you don't have to keep going and finding multiples of the archives. You could just do them at a singular archive to learn all of the lore. But not only that, it'd be nice if some of these things actually rewarded you with an old relic or something that you take and you can put into the relic machines at the archives, and maybe extrapolate new blueprints, maybe for base parts, or maybe even for new modules or new tech for your actual multi-tools or your ships or your exocrafts, like I was saying earlier. So a little bit more of a reward system for some of these specific records and things like that. I mean, that actually was a record archive that I found there. Take it to the archive would make sense, wouldn't it? It really freaking would. So yeah, they could tie all these mechanics that we currently have in game and stitch them together to make a nice little bundle of exploration on planets and tie it to the archives. Another thing is we come across some giant fauna in the way of these giant sandworms. There's one over there. There she blows. I would love to see more Megafauna introduced into the verse, and maybe even some boss sentinelized type creatures. I have an ideas video for boss sentinelized creatures, which I'll put a card in the top right hand corner now. Please go watch that because it's freaking awesome. But yes, I would like to see Megafauna extended massively inside of the verse. I mean, when I try to think of a single sci-fi film, I can't hardly think of any that don't have giant megafaunas that stir the imagination of what is actually possible. It's like the Millennium Falcon when it flew inside of that meteorite, and they thought that they were inside a cave, but no, they were inside a giant fauna's mouth. Well, we have giant fauna skulls floating around in the universe up here in space. Well, where's the giant fauna that that's attached to that might be in space? It'd be freaking ace to see giant space whales. I know that we've got like giant jellyfish in space, but I'd like to see more of a threat in water as well. You know, you just dive straight in and you don't really care. You think, well, I'm safe, there's nothing in here that can hurt me. Giant freaking sharks and krakens and giant creatures would be freaking ace. Heck yes, it would. I would really welcome that. Now, caves as well don't have their own set sort of fauna. They do have their own sets of flora and so forth and so on, and they have improved caves vastly, but they could do with adding in extra fauna for caves, such as slugs and snails and all sorts of other sorts of weird fauna they could add, and the hazardous flora seems to be quite limited as well. They did add in new hazardous flora types, but even the hazardous flora missions mention about vines catching the actual traveller. It'd be nice to have sort of hazardous flora that entangle you and you have to wiggle your joypad to escape or bash a key or something, but more hazardous flora types would be most welcome, especially in caves. And yes, I'd like to see cave critters that actually scale the walls and ceilings and go all over the place, and it'd be nice if there was like hordes of them. That'd be freaking sweet, wouldn't it? Heck yes. And now we have settlements. Now these settlements remind me so much of The Mandalorian, and I'm going to nick a few ideas from said Mandalorian. It's like there's one episode where there's like this creature that's hauled up in a cave and the Jawas want an egg. Now it wouldn't be so cool if one of your actual mission agents here gave you a mission to go and hunt down an exotic predatory creature on this planet that dwells in a certain area, maybe the north or the south of the planet, and you have to go and hunt this giant fauna and complete a mission like that. That'd be freaking ace. Any sort of missions that these guys give you could be cool, just to enhance the happiness of your actual town, or even their productivity. It's like they might say, go and get me a shed load of freaking minerals. You know, they might give us some boring missions. Not all the missions have to be super exciting, but it'd be nice to get the odd one. Heck yes. And also learning of language. So at the moment we can learn from the actual knowledge stones, but why not learn from your actual settlement as well? Perhaps you can learn 5 words per day if you've got a settlement of that race. And if you have learned the actual words of a different race, it'd be nice if the standing went up, and when you actually do trades with, say, the Gek, you might get some sort of, I don't know, discount or something. Yeah, I know, for a Gek it's that's probably never going to happen, but you know what I mean. It'd be nice if learning the lingo and learning the language and getting your faction rating up actually did something, because right now it does fudging nothing, Chums. I know, it's freaking ridiculous, isn't it? But yes, it'd be nice if they enhanced the trade to give us something rather than nothing for learning all the words. Heck yes. And another thing that feels vastly empty is the actual NPCs up in the station. They normally just give you one line of text. Every now and again, they will do something random like this and offer you an actual gift, which doesn't happen often. This is like once in a blue moon type thing. This is as rare as Rockin' Horse Turd, yet I don't think it should be. I think that each time you go and interact with these guys, perhaps they might offer you something, like maybe go do a bounty mission or something. But what would be really nice is, now that we've got expeditions, it'd be nice if each of the NPCs in the Nexus offered you a backstory in way of an expedition that you can go on, earn badges and earn drops that are related to that individual. It's like we know Hesperus, he likes to mess around with Korvax technology, so perhaps his actual expedition could be getting the actual Normandy from the Foul Boundary through Korvax technologies. And Tethys, the actual fish face up here, he could give us maybe the Deep mission, where you get the helmet, the underwater diver's helmet. Perhaps they could deliver that in way of an expedition. It could be really cool to actually learn of how these characters came into the Nexus, how they found Nada and Polo, or vice versa. Polo and Nada may have found them. But to actually do it inside of an expedition where you get rewards for each of these NPCs and learn about these NPCs, who they are, how they came to be, and why they look the way they are, even perhaps maybe they're remnants of an old race. Who knows? The only races that survived are the Gek, Viking, and Korvax. But yeah, there is mention that there were other races. They were the only free soul survivors. Are these remnants of those? It'd be nice to learn the lore of the NPCs up inside of the Nexus. Heck yes. Now there's one NPC down here, if I can get over this frickin' railing. Yeah, Ariadne, who is an imposter if you've done the weekend mission lore from previous year. We know that she went into the void and didn't return, or did return as an imposter, I should say. She went aboard a dark freighter, chums. So yes, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been hit up from that weekend mission lore, or realised or ended off. In fact, they ended off some patch notes not so long ago to say, does the darkness remain? What's happening with Ariadne? That sort of stuff left us on a freaking cliff edge. They really did. So yeah, I'm hoping that they do something around the NPCs and how they got there. So yes, now ship customization was on that list, wasn't it, earlier, chums? Yes. Well, I've done an actual video on ship customization, which I'm going to put into the top right-hand corner, because I think me just talking about it doesn't do it enough justice. That video has screenshots and mock-ups that I've done in the photo of the shop, so go check that out. Now, gameplay loop mechanics. Again, I've done another video around gameplay loop mechanics where I came up with the idea of maybe having 16 different universes, each tied to different glyphs. So say like the Diplo glyph, maybe that takes you to a dimension that gives you larger fauna and rhinos that actually smash down trees and things. Yeah, so maybe they could add 16 different dimensions rather than having 256 that all feel very samey, and make like 16 very unique feeling dimensions that you want to travel to and travel through to actually get perks related to each of those missions. So maybe you might go into, say, the dragonfly dimension so you can easily learn the words of each of the different races, and maybe the end result of that is you get S-class translator tech, or even learn all of the Atlas words or something. So each dimension can deliver something new to your actual voyage, to your journey. Hello Games also mentioned, when they were doing GDC 2015, that the further that you progress to the centre of the actual universe, the stranger and bizarrer things get. Now, I was flying over quite a normal looking planet, now I'm flying over this super duper awesome lush looking planet. It'd be nice if the planet sort of evolved that way, as well as the life that frequents those, so the closer you get to the centre, the more bizarre or the more exotic the creatures you come across, or even the chance of Megafauna goes up. Heck yes! So if you did couple all those ideas with the exploration ideas that I had earlier, I think people, the further you get towards the centre of the actual galaxies, the more exploration is going to partake. And I think the further you go from the centre, the more sentinels you should encounter, and the bigger threats, the further the back you go from the centre. So, the Viking pushed all the sentinel there. So why not use that in the lore and maybe add in some sentinel bosses and things, like I mentioned earlier with the sentinel bosses ideas video, add all that sort of stuff in there, and maybe add in more infested planets and more chance of coming across biological horrors. And that takes us over to the Void, and the Void Egg, and getting of the Void Ship, which is this thing, or the living ship. This thing looks completely alien to our dimension and was pulled from another dimension, and we fed it frickin' Traveller's Souls people to birth this thing into life during the Starbirth missions. And right now its technology is weak as. It just looks like an IKEA's lampshade, and it's got just as much frickin' use. Well, IKEA's lampshades, I do highly rate them. I don't really rate this as a ship much, because it's not even on par with the ships that we have currently. So I'd like to see this greatly stepped up in way of storage capacity and also technologies that you can put into it. I mean, they could do so much with alien weaponization, couldn't they? You could have a weapon that actually eats your opponent's shields or something if you shoot them with it. There's so much they could do. Well, in an untapped, infinite, generated, procedural universe, the potential is pretty much untapped, isn't it? It's infinite, basically. Right here I'm trying to land on some of my frigates, but they vanished. Arse and biscuits. So now I'm trying to land on this one. Don't you disappear on me, frigate. I'm trying to make a video of ideas for frigates. So yes, at the moment you can land and interact with your frigate commander, and he actually refers to you as captain. Captain on deck. He even gifts me with goods. Heck yes, well thank you, Corporal Zahaza. Nice one. We're going to go and see Corporal Zazaza inside of the bridge of our frigate. So let's run down here and let's run down there, and the frigate actual bridge is just to my left or my right, either way should take me there, but these doors don't open. Yeah, I'm the captain, yet I can't go see the freaking crew. They don't exist, people. No, just Captain Zaza's holographic projection is all I get to see. I don't get to see any more than that. I would like to see these fully fleshed out. I want to see the frigates fully fleshed out, and I'd love to attend away missions with the frigates, because right now, this kind of breaks immersion for me slightly, chums. And talking of breaking immersion, bugs. There's a heck of a lot of bugs and squiffiness still in current iteration, despite all the patches and good work Hello Work games do. So I'd like to see all the bugs completely squashed, including duplication glitches. I know that's not going to win me any brownie points, but here's some other stuff I'd like to see that I hope does win brownie points and comes in the next update. Should we be lucky enough to get another one this year, these are all the things on screen that I would like to see realised inside of an update either this year, early next, something like that, because these are all, again, loose ends with inside of the actual lore, and these would make sense to me. I was expecting something along the lines of this list to be realised in the big summer update of this year, rather than Frontiers. Frontiers took me completely by surprise, chums. I did do a video a little while ago on cities and the way that they could be implemented, though, which I'll put in the top right hand corner now. Go and watch that, because it's crazily similar to how settlements are now. So did I predict the future way back in yonder? Perhaps, maybe, I could have done. I can't really take credit, but there we go. Righto, chums, so you probably have your own lists out there in viewer world, and I would love to read the sort of things that you guys out there in the viewerverse would like to see. So please hit them up inside of the comments. That'd be super awesome, smashing great, and I will see you all again soon. Goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.